Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So today we have reshuffled the cattle shed. As you can see, a quick swing of the camera around, you can see that there's slight differences from what there was before. And the reason we reshuffled the whole cattle shed was we were trying to wean off the calves here from the cows. That was the whole main idea, the real purpose why we reshuffled the whole cattle shed was mainly because we wanted to start weaning off the calves from the cows, because the cows will be starting to calf soon, but that'll be for another video explaining which cows are in calf, which cows aren't in calf, and the ones that are in calf, which ones are due and on what date and all that sort of stuff. That'll be for another video. So in this video, I'm basically going to show you the whole changes, the reshufflement. You already know one, but I'm also going to tell you how we done it, and what, just the whole process of how we either moved them around, how we done things on the day. This is a couple of days after we done it, just so that they're all settled in their new their new pens. So yeah, I guess we'll get straight into the video. Obviously, the first things that you've seen, hope maybe, but the first things that I mentioned was that now the calves are separated from the cows to wean them with this gate here. And this gate previously, when they were all together, was up against that wall there. There's now a loop for the lash to go into, similar to this. Well, similar to that hole there, except it's now tube thing, like it was clipped in along the wall there, so it couldn't be moved or anything like that. So what we done was, when they were together, we tried to separate the cows from the calves while within the slats. So we were keeping the calves in on the slats and hunting the cows out through the gate. Any cows that were coming out while the calves were staying into the slats, they were put into that pen there. So obviously we had a man inside the pen trying to get everything moving out the gate and all that. And then we had a man standing at the gate, manning the gate, so that if a calf would come, the gate would be closed. Easy there. And if a cow came, we'd open the gate, let the cow out, and then close the gate again afterwards before anything else would try to get out. There's 6 cows in that pen, and there's 6 calves here, but that cow and that calf were in with them together before we separated them, and that cow and that calf back there, that was the sick calf that we had sort of separated in his own pen, but obviously we'll come to that again. We'll come to why they're separated again. It's mainly just room purposes, not enough room. So, we'd had to use our initiative and our brain power just to figure things out, which is why this video is probably called Cattle Shed Tetris or something, because room is very limited and we had to move cows around and all this. So we'll explain all that stuff later on in the video. But yeah, in this case, it would have been the 6 cows in this pen plus that red cow, so 7 cows in total out in that pen waiting. We then we separated that one calf that's in here. So once all the cows were out of that slat off the slats and into that pen, we got this calf here. We separated this calf from these calves here. And we put that calf then in with that cow and that calf at that time. We then closed this gate on these calves. The reason we have this here and not in that loop there is because they wouldn't have enough room that way, so we had to bolt on an old loop here for the gate to latch into, and even at that it's sort of tight for them. But because the gate is like that now, the calves have the fixed water trough, and we're filling water then in this blue barrel for the cows. So we're filling that water every morning during the day, depending on what silage they're eating, if it's dry or wet. If it's dry silage, they'll be drinking more water, so we might be filling it once or twice during the day, and then in the evening time. So we could be filling that barrel of water 3, 4, or even 5 times a day for the calves, depending on what type of silage they're eating. So 7 cows were out in the pen. How were we going to separate the red cow from that batch to put into this pen with her calf, which was fairly simple, and we used this method as well for separating other animals. We had the cows in here, so we started hunting the cows down the pen here, and then once that red cow went in, so maybe there was 2, 3 or 4 cows in front, and then that red cow that we wanted came in behind them, we'd close the gate here, so no more of the cows in the pen here could get down. So we let out then the 3 or 4 cows that's in front of the red cow that we want. We let them out here and let them loose. And once the red cow came, we closed the gates on them. And then we put them cows back into their pen. And then we let the red cow that we wanted into the other pen with the other cow and calf, and with her own calf. Hopefully you know what I'm trying to say. And then any other cows that were left here, we just ran them out this way into the pen where they are now. And that's how we separated that red cow from those cows, because it's room as well. And you might be wondering why them 2 calves aren't being weaned off. Those 2 calves, I'll explain that later on in the video when I get around to them. So that's them, and you may have also seen the 3 bullocks that were with the 7 small heifers. They're now separated. So those 3 bullocks were in here with the 7 smaller heifers, and then that big black heifer and that Hereford cross heifer, the 2 bigger heifers, were in that pen on their own. So we separated them in a very similar way. We separated that cow from them. We hunted the 7 heifers and the 3 bullocks because they were in that pen at the time. We hunted all them into, well, actually first we let the 2 bigger heifers out, the 2 bigger heifers that are in there, that were in here. We hunted them out. We brought them into this pen. We hunted them then down this crush, and then obviously this gate is open now. Any other time it'll be closed and sort of latched in those 2 holes with its 2 latches. But anyways, the 2 heifers, we hunted them down the crush, and we left them down here just out of the way, so we could get all that, so we could get the smaller 7 heifers separated from the bullocks. So while the 2 bigger heifers were down there and out of the way, we took out the 7 heifers and the 3 bullocks. We put them out into this pen here, and again we used our crush system. So we put down the heifers. So let's just say, example, again, 3 or 4 of the smaller heifers went down, and maybe 1 or 2 then bullocks went down afterwards. So we'd open the gates at the end there and let whatever heifers were out first, and then when a bullock came along, we'd close the gates, we'd put the heifers into their pen. Once they were in their pen, we opened these gates, and then we put the bullocks into their new pen. And the reason that we done it this way was because that was the most safest and efficient way we could have possibly done it, because with a small pen full of cattle, this gate was closed, so they weren't able to get into this pen. They were all curtailed into this small pen here. So there was always either a gate or a barrier between us and the cattle, so there was a lower risk of any sort of farm accidents happen, which we don't really want. So that's why we sort of separated them using our crush system that I explained there, and hopefully you understand. So that's how we separated the 3 bullocks and the 7 heifers. Once the 7 heifers were in that pen and the 3 bullocks were in that pen, the 2 bigger heifers that were down below, we brought them back up and put them in with the 7 smaller heifers here in this pen. But this pen isn't finished being done yet. We want to curtail the 2 bigger heifers, so that big black heifer and this one. We want to curtail them. We want to hang the gate from that girder here to this girder and put the 2 bigger heifers in there and leave the 7 smaller heifers here for male purposes. We want to start feeding the 2 bigger heifers more male. We want to feed them maybe that little bit less, but there'll be a video coming on the whole male or nuts or meal feeding in another video. For this video, it's just explaining other stuff. But yeah, we're not finished with this pen yet. We want to still separate the 2 bigger heifers and put them into their own pen. And the only gate that will work is that if we moved this gate, because it's the biggest gate here, we can move this gate over to where it hangs on that girder, and it clips into this girder. I think it's 14 foot from this girder to that girder, and that is the only 14-foot gate we have. We have another gate out along the wall there, which I'll show you, which will be replacing, which will be going in place for this gate here, because we can then have this and we can turn this around so that the longer bit is sticking inside, and then the gate can sort of latch and be more secure, because the gate out there I think is only 12 foot or something. But yeah, we'll be moving this gate over to in between those girders. We'll be putting another gate in that gate's place, because that one will be there, and the 2 bigger heifers then will be in between a gate here and a gate hanging on the girders, 2 bigger heifers, and then the 7 smaller heifers will be left on their own. This is the gate that we're going to use. This is the 12-foot gate. So this gate here will be where this gate is now, and this gate will be hung up on the girder there, and that should work, because this is the 14-foot gate and the one out there is the 12-foot gate, and we have this little bit of the extension, just so that the smaller gate can actually reach the other side and be latched, while this one here can hang on the girder here. We have the slots there, and it should reach the other girder and latch into its little slot, the little hole. So that's that pen and the future reshufflement of the pen. Once we have the gates up and that reshufflement done, I'll just quickly show you it in another video or so, just to show you what I meant in this video visually when it's fully done. But that's that. Now moving on to this pen. So I mentioned how we got this red cow and her calf separated from them. We're using our crush system. We put her in there because, one, you can see there for yourselves, there's 6 cows in there, and that's already fairly tight for them, for sticking out their heads, for getting silage and eating and stuff. So to make room, we put that cow and that calf into this pen, where that calf and this cow already was. We had to extend this gate a bit further. This gate originally was, I think, at this barrier, so that only a cow and a calf could fit into it, and no less or no more. Well, no more, but we just had to open that gate by two more barriers to make room for another cow and a calf to go in. And the reason is one of the cows there are not in calf, and the other one, or maybe the 2 of them aren't in calf. I'm not 100% sure, but obviously I have to look at the records again, and then I'll be making a video on the whole calving situation, which ones are in calf and whatnot. As I explained earlier, that'll be for another video. So I'll probably explain that better in the other video that I'll be doing, why why those two calves aren't being weaned off them two cows. I assume they're either going to be sold, but one of them is definitely not in calf, so that's why the two of them are put together. So that is that. You've now seen the whole reshufflement, where they are now and all that, and how we separated them and all that, the system we used and all that. But anyways, that is going to be the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care.